system.
It's an electronic device for storing and processing data.
The nervous system is all the collection of nerves in your body.
Yeast is a eukaryote.
Welcome to Spectacular Science, where it's all about science, with your host, Akshay.
Hey listeners, welcome back to this episode of Spectacular Science. I'm your host, Akshay. Hummingbirds. They're a small type of bird that have a special superpower, and they are the masters of flight. They can beat their wings at over 200 times per second and can fly very, 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 very fast, and can even fly in different directions like up, down, forward, and even backwards, which other birds can't do. Hummingbirds have some special powers, and it all comes down to their wings. In this episode, I want to explore the science of hummingbirds and how they've adapted ways in order to fly fast and other cool things about hummingbirds. Let's give an introduction to these amazing hummingbirds. A hummingbird is a small bird with a long, slender bill. Many hummingbirds have brightly colored, glittery feathers. The birds are named after the humming sound made by the rapid beating of their wings. There are about 320 kinds of hummingbirds, and they live only in the Americas. Most of them live in the warmer parts of South America. About 12 kinds are found regularly in the United States and in Canada. All hummingbirds are small, and many are tiny. The largest of these birds are only about 8 inches long or 20 centimeters long. It's called the giant hummingbird, and the bee hummingbird is slightly longer than 2 inches or 5 centimeters. It is the smallest living bird of any kind. Hummingbirds have long wings and muscular bodies. They can fly forward, sideways, straight up, or down, and even backward. That's something that other birds like robins or even blue jays can't even do. Hummingbirds can also hover or hang in one place while beating their wings. Some small hummingbirds beat their wings 80 times per second, and some can even beat their wings about 200 times. Hummingbirds feed mainly on nectar, a sweet liquid made by flowers. The bird hovers in front of the flower and reaches inside with this long, curved bill. Hummingbirds drink nectar at a rate of 3 to 13 licks per second. Grains of pollen often stick to hummingbirds while they are feeding, and they can carry pollen from flower to flower, and this helps the flower to reproduce and to make more flowers for the hummingbirds to drink nectar out of. Now, hummingbirds really need a fuel frequently because they're constantly flapping their wings. In fact, the reason they're able to hover in place and fly backwards is because they move their wings in a figure 8 pattern. Try it right now. Extend your arms at arm length and try moving your arm in figure 8 pattern. That's basically how a hummingbird moves. And that figure 8 pattern is what helps it hover. This is because the air is getting pushed out from all the sides. If you were to look up a slow motion video of a hummingbird flying, you would actually see that the wing moves in this figure 8 direction, and it knocks out air in every single part, which helps the hummingbird stay basically hovering like a helicopter. It's really cool because the hummingbirds are making this formation which pushes air out on all of the sides, and that helps the hummingbird hover in place, and that also helps the hummingbird move around a lot. And they really need this nectar a lot, and they really need to time their sort of pit stops because just like a car, the hummingbird can't function its wings without having to drink some nectar, which is basically the fuel. Like if you were to talk about a car, that's basically the fuel for the hummingbird that helps it keep moving its wings. There's actually a myth out there that says that hummingbirds never sit down or perch on a branch. And that's actually false because hummingbirds need to take a break just like any other animal. And most people think that just hummingbirds just hover all over the place. and even sleep while hovering, but that's all false. Hummingbirds have to take some rest at some point. Even though they hover while they're drinking their nectar, they still have to sit down at some point, like at night, where they could recharge and sleep, and that's how they rest, in fact. Because hummingbirds are not machines and they can't go on forever and ever, even though I wish I had like a hummingbird bot. That would actually be cool. Anyway, back to hummingbirds. In order for hummingbirds to fly so quickly and so efficiently, they've evolved over time to create basically a body structure that suits them and the body structure that enables them to fly so rapidly. And they're actually very lightweight. Some hummingbirds only weigh as much as a nickel. So that's pretty lightweight compared to other birds like the bald eagle, which can be over 10 or 20 pounds. And this actually helps them move super fast. And their small little wings can actually propel them because the hummingbirds are so lightweight and that their bones are hollow, which is something that they share common with a lot of other birds. Hummingbirds truly are amazing creatures and have so many superpowers that help them live their everyday lives. What if we could create sort of a hummingbird suit that helps humans hover in midair? Wow, that's something that I need to take to my invention lab. But before I go try and design a suit for humans, what did we learn today? We learned that hummingbirds are small birds that are able to fly side to side, forwards and backwards, which is what something other birds can't do because other birds can't flap their wings backwards. And hummingbirds can also hover in place or float in one place. And they're able to do this because of the pattern they move their wings in. They move it in a figure 8 shape, which actually helps them push air out on all the sides, helping them hover in place. Hummingbirds are specially adapted to be able to do this with a lightweight body and hollow bones, which actually helps them hover in place, and it's easier for them to do that. Hummingbirds drink nectar, and they need this nectar in order to survive, so they have to keep on refueling every 10 minutes or so. And these hummingbirds have long curved beaks, so the flowers have to be just right for the hummingbird to drink nectar from. This nectar actually is kind of like a fuel, just like you would put in your car, so that's for the hummingbird, so that it can keep hovering and keep flying at these high speeds. Hummingbirds are truly amazing animals and have adapted ways to be able to hover and fly backwards, which is something other birds can't even do. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Spectacular Science. Spectacular Science produced and hosted by me, Akshay J. Raman. Our theme song is by Charan Ramachandran. Special thanks to Varun Ramachandran. Please visit my podcast website, spectacularsci.com, to find interactive activities, blog posts, articles, and all of our episodes. You can also find the link to sign up for the Spectacular Science membership, where you get lots of bonus content to keep you thinking about science. My favorite of those is the fact of the day, when you get a fun science fact every day. Sign up at spectacularsci.com/membership. Please follow or subscribe to this show on any podcasting platform or wherever you're listening right now. It really encourages me when you subscribe, and it means a lot. Thank you so much. I always love hearing from my listeners about science, and I just love interacting with my listeners. So please contact me at spectacularsci.com/contact or email me using the link posted on the page. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and we'll see you on the next episode of Spectacular Science next week. Keep thinking about science.